With the absolute dumpster fire that was F1 22, we all thought that this was the end for the quality and replayability of the games that we come to expect from Codemasters. Now that Electronic Arts had gotten their grubby little paws on this decorated racing franchise, we expected the games to never reach that level again. With this year's release, I can confidently say that the F1 games are on their way back to being the great racing games that they once were. Whether it's the new updated physics and handling, Breaking Point sequel, the League Racing overhaul, or the addition of F1 World, F1 23 is a step up on the previous entry for sure. With F1 23, EA Sports and Codemasters were tasked with the challenge of fixing everything that was wrong about the previous entry. The handling model was completely butchered in F1 22 and didn't replicate real car physics whatsoever. This time around, Codemasters engaged with both teams, as well as F1 drivers like Anthony Davidson, former driver for Minardi, BAR, and Super Aguri Honda, now turned Sky F1 commentator, to get feedback on how the handling could be improved. Certain corners that spelled doom last year due to the lack of grip can now be attacked at near full throttle thanks to these changes. Breaking Point makes its return, taking a hiatus from last year's game. Breaking Point does a good job at satisfying all those Drive to Survive fans that are brainwashed into thinking Michael Massey is the devil and that Lewis and Max actually hate each other. And it's probably for the best. The first iteration was terrible, the cutscenes were cringeworthy and didn't replicate any real-life interaction that you would see in the actual sport. With Breaking Point 2, the story is a direct sequel featuring some of the original characters, while also introducing a few fresh faces. Bitter rivals Aiden Jackson and Devin Butler are now teammates. Jackson was unable to find a seat with the frontrunners after last year's story and now finds himself stuck with the midfield team known as Connor Sport Butler Global Formula One team. Devin's father has a stake in the team and is funding it, but with all the internal drama as well as poor performance on track, Devin's father threatens to pull funding at the end of the year if they can't manage 5th in the Constructors' Championship. I mean, hey, I would too if I had a car that was consistently being beaten by Haas with Dollar Tree Frederick Vasseur as my team principal. Much like last year, the graphics and the cutscenes are really good. Combine this with the voice acting and objective gameplay, and this mode is well worth your time. F1 23 has also been improved upon due to the abundance of community feedback on social media. You can now choose 35% race distance in Grand Prix mode, which is now the new minimum distance to enable safety cars, and now the addition of red flags, which make their return for the first time since F1 2014. Now you might be asking what the gameplay in the back is about. Well, I'll tell you now. It's F1 World. It's now a new option in the main menu, which now houses all of the modes that you've come to love. Grand Prix, time trials, and such are now in that menu if you can't find them on the main screen. F1 World itself is a mode making its debut in the franchise. You get to design your own car and take it out on track in both solo and online events. The offline modes take you to all sorts of different tracks and challenge your skills in different series, taking away assists with each subsequent race that you take part in. Doing well in these races will earn you cash and insight, which you can use to develop new parts for your car as well as upgrade existing ones. Additionally, you can also assign staff to your team, which give you bonuses during races for driving multiple clean laps. Next on the list is League Racing. Codemasters now allow players to create, join, and manage multiplayer races straight from Codemasters RaceNet. Linking your EA account allows you access to all these features, as well as being able to access telemetry and lap data. The track list this year has been expanded upon. The usual community-requested tracks like Shanghai, Losail, and Portugal are here, but the newly introduced Las Vegas Strip Circuit, which is the penultimate race in this year's F1 World Championship, is now available to play in the game. Arguably quicker than tracks like Baku and Monza, you're pretty much on the throttle for the entire lap. Now when it comes to the more popular offline modes like My Team and Career, these are virtually unchanged. Some new features are added, but it's largely the exact same mode as previous entries, aside from the starting cutscene being hosted by Natalie Pinkham instead of Will Buxton. Controller players rejoice. You guys aren't at nearly as much of a disadvantage to the sim heads now with the new Precision Drive feature. This feature allows you to change a myriad of different settings and calibrations to deliver more precise controller inputs, so those that have to constantly cut the swimming pool chicane at Monaco should now be able to take the correct racing line through this section. Giving my final thoughts here, F1 23 builds on everything that F1 22 failed to do. The sport is now bigger than it's ever been, so it puts a lot more pressure on Codemasters' shoulders to deliver an experience that every type of player can get behind. And this year they did just that. I sincerely hope this review helps to sway your decision on if you would like to buy this game, and I also hope you enjoyed watching it. I wanted to keep this video short and sweet because I know that a lot of casual players flock to these types of videos to get a general idea of what the game has to offer before they make an informed decision. With that said, I hope you enjoyed. If you're interested, check out some of my other F1 videos on the channel that are popping up on screen right now. I just recently started a new single-player career, and I also decided to give Daniel Ricciardo a second chance with McLaren. Regardless, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in whatever video I upload next. Take care.